If you are a baby Christian, if you're just starting your walk with God, or even if you are just contemplating the idea of a relationship with what Jesus could look like, I want to tell you a story that could encourage you real quick. So my parents have this dog named Ditto, and he is sweet, but he is stubborn. And one day when I was still living with them at their house, I had opened the door and Ditto ran out, and he didn't have his collar on, he just bolted right towards a busy street. And of course I freaked, because I didn't want him to get hit. And so I go chasing after him like any loving owner would do. But because Ditto was stubborn, every time I would get close to him, he would dart across the street into oncoming traffic. And there were several times where I was just holding my breath and closing my eyes because I thought he was going to get hit. And so I'm chasing after him. And finally, I realized that what would give Ditto the best chance of survival was for me to stop chasing him and sit and wait for him to come to me. And it wasn't because I didn't love him. It was just the opposite. I loved him and I didn't want him to get hurt. But I knew that if I kept chasing after him and telling him what to do, he was just going to put himself in more danger. And so I sat and I waited for him to come to me because I loved him. And eventually he did come back. He came to me and I took him back into our yard where he was in the safety of the protection of my territory. As you go along this journey and try to figure out who God is to you and who you are to him, there's probably going to be people who are shouting instructions at you. Don't go this way, go that way. And it's going to be very confusing. And you're going to feel like you don't know which way to go. And at times, you're going to want to bolt because you don't want to be told what to do. Those are the times when God is sitting and waiting for you to come to him. So if you feel like he's being so quiet and you're lost and directionless and you don't know which way to go and everybody's telling you do this, do that, and you just don't know which voice to listen to, forget all the voices. Seek him and you will find him. And when you find him, he will take you under his arm and back into the protection of his territory. Now, that doesn't mean that nothing bad's ever going to happen to you, because even with Ditto, I couldn't guarantee that nothing bad would ever happen to him just because he's in my yard, right? But what it did guarantee was that I was going to be there to guide him through it every step of the way. If you've got God on your side, if you are walking with him, even when those storms come, you have that guidance and comfort and protection of a loving Father. That doesn't mean that your life's going to be perfect. It means your life's going to be worth it. He wants to bring you under his protection, not because he wants to stifle you, but because he wants you to not have to dart back and forth between the dangers of this world. It's like when I was sitting there watching Ditto do that, it was agony for me to sit and wait for him to come to me. It was agonizing because I knew at any second he could put himself in mortal danger. But I knew that it was the best chance he had for me to sit and wait. So if God is sitting and waiting and not saying anything, that's your chance to come to him and let you bring him back into his yard where you are safe and where you are loved and where you belong. And if you're sitting there going, okay, but I don't know how to do that because I have tried praying, I have tried reading my Bible, I just feel so stuck and lost and alone and directionless, and I just need a little bit of guidance, then you are the reason why I wrote my book. I wrote this book, 7 Days to a Life of Limitless, that is everything that I learned over the past 3 years about how to cultivate a relationship with God and really get to know his heart. And so if you're wondering how to get closer to him, this would be a good place to start. And if you're not sure if it's right for you or not, you can get the introduction for free by signing up for my email newsletter. I also wrote this journal to go with it. It's called Go Ask God, the Journal. It's 120 questions to help you learn how to hear God's voice. And then it's got space for you to journal your prayers down at the bottom. Both of these are available on Amazon, and you can find them in my profile.